It's your boy Matt here. So I'm making a video today. I'm currently at PJ's. Their gimmick is that they have Hawke's Pale Ale at for $10 a pint. Bob Hawke, he was one of our prime ministers, top bloke. He was very famous for being a heavy drinker, and he famously drank a yard glass in like 11 seconds when he was at Oxford University. So there you go. Alcohol is kind of cemented in our culture. It's always been a little bit overplayed in Australia. There's all these images around the times of Prohibition where what we did is that we made it so that the pubs closed at like really close to the time people finished work. So the pubs would close at like 5:30, so you'd have this massive crowd of people coming in, and because drinking is part of our culture, the image of us being super heavy drinkers, while true, is also been a little bit exacerbated. These days, I'm a millennial. I'm proud of the last generation of people in Australia who did drink heavily. After me, the kids these days, the fucking kids these days, they don't drink as much, and I think that's an excellent thing. But I am moving to a different phase of my life, hopefully, where the focus of my attention no longer has to be on survival needs and can be on social needs and just general improvement. There's an idea in psychology therapy called solution-based therapy, because what ends up happening is that people end up getting so caught up in the problem, trying to diagnose the problems of their life, that their attention's always caught up in that, when really that process is kind of exhausting. You don't want to be constantly thinking of how shit things are. You want to be thinking of other things. You want to be working towards better things. So I'm going to try and bring my attention away from very heavy issues regarding myself and try and bring my attention towards living again. I've been in situations where my first goal has had to be survival and dealing with problems in front of me and around me. Hopefully things are going to change soon, but also I'm going to take a different strategy with my attention. My attention, due to survival, has to be on addressing threats and that kind of thing, though. That's been the most adaptive thing for me. Hopefully things are changing. I'm a victim of circumstance. It doesn't matter. It truly does not matter who you are in these situations when you have to deal with the amount of problems I've had to face. Anyone in my situation is going to have ended up being fucked up. And returning to the point of this video, and I'm going to describe hierarchy and how hierarchy functions. So I want to start off by talking about slavery in the United States. For a large amount of the time the Atlantic slave trade was happening and the period afterwards, it wasn't particularly profitable, and all things considered, it may have just been easier for everyone if slavery never happened, because financially it didn't really make too much sense, perhaps. I know that's one interpretation of history. I don't know the exact figures. But one interpretation which does make sense to me and does highlight a cultural phenomenon which absolutely did occur is that having slaves in that society, particularly in the southern part of the United States, allowed low-income white people to feel as if there was someone in society who was less than them. And that made them feel good. If there's someone below you, that lifts you up. So what they did is they liked slavery. It was fantastic. There's someone in society who's less than you. And as a vulnerable person, after the police harassment, which has led me into this stage of my life, because I'm in this situation because of abuse by the authorities. And abuse, just abuse, man. Like, I do not deserve what happened is that every time I went to a job interview, it was like recorded. I was the victim of malpractice by this detective called Theo Aliku. I think that's his last name. Motherfucker ruined my life. So every time I go to a job interview, it's legal testimony. And that was horrifying. At the same time, I had plants from Michael's cult. I had to deal with all of Michael's bullshit. And during this time, because I drink too much, because I'm a slight alcoholic, this stuff gets used as justification for my misery. This is a result of the abuse. This is how I've been able to handle these things. Because it is difficult to do. It's not because of lack of coping mechanisms. It's because the amount that I've had to deal with is overwhelming to anyone. Now, I've had to deal with this sort of paternalistic attitude that people like to have. They're like, I get to help this person, I'm caring for them, and they'll often manufacture ways in their head for how they've cared for me or something. So for example, my last landlady, a big part of her thing was that in her mind she was caring for me, and she told everyone that she was caring for me. She wasn't. She used this opportunity to humiliate me by saying all kinds of false crap, making it out I'm far worse than I was, because it allowed her to feel as if get attention. It was like, oh, woe is me, I've got this guy he's falling apart, who's a cranky drunk in the bottom of my house. It's like, no bitch, you were breaking into my room and the rooms of your tenants, you hadn't done any maintenance, and every time something in their house broke, I got blamed for it. And like, for example, there was another instance where because I'm held in poverty, I had a car which was not registered and needed work done on it, and because this woman was abusing me and had and was connected to my family and other things by my guess, like when I had the opportunity, my opportunity to escape was me giving this car to a neighbor, so they owed me a favor, and that neighbor hated this woman, and that allowed me to have a person I could have a phone call with if I'm in an emergency. And similarly, I've had this paternalistic bullshit attitude from law enforcement, where it's like, oh, this guy, he's this troubled guy, like he's in this situation because, oh, maybe he wasn't raised right or something. It's like, nah, bitch, I'm in this situation because you shit fucks are abusing me, and you are being abused by these powerful people in my industry. That's why I'm in this situation. I have to live in a homeless shelter because otherwise I'll have people put into my house without me having any context of where they're from. I had the same thing when this Cara bitch went into my home. Like, I wasn't looking for a girlfriend. I wasn't looking for that. I was wanting to have a fucking housemate. And I had to deal with this strange social engineering thing. I was dealing with life and death situations. I didn't want this crazy bitch in my home. And what it is that people will say they're helping you or create a story where they're trying to help you because it lifts them up or it makes them feel good in their world. And people like me need to be perceived as broken or or as worthless or as not being worthy of having their fucking money because we can't handle our money. Fuck you, Jordan Peterson. You owe me a shit ton, bitch. Because we're in a bad situation. It's the most condescending shit. It's like, these people, they live in a world where they need to have people who are less than them so that they can feel good, and to have a structure, a hierarchical structure like that. It's like, nah, man, I am not in this situation because of my behavior. I'm in this situation because of abuse. And having been a vulnerable person and made into a vulnerable person, I kind of understand what my place is at the bottom of society. My place at the bottom of society is to give people an opportunity to feel good about themselves when they can say that they're helping me, or they can look at me and be like, oh, I'm glad I'm not that guy. I've made good life decisions, so I'm not in his position. I'm not in this position because of bad decisions, ladies and gentlemen. I'm in this position because of abuse. Right? It's as simple as that. So that's my point. Now, there might be some more things I could tack onto this, but that's the main point I wanted to make today. So have a good one, ladies and gentlemen.